With me on the line, Anton from Beast in Black. Anton, thanks for taking my call.
My pleasure.
Can you briefly tell us about the formation of the band, if you can?
Sure. Well, basically, all the guys are friends from my past, so it didn't take much time to form the band. Soon after the departure from Battle Beast in 2015, except for Yanis, he was the newest guy. I didn't know him earlier. I came across him on YouTube and contacted him, and we were in touch for some time, and then we met face to face first time in 2015, January or February, during the last tour I did with Battle Beast. And I asked him if he is interested in joining this new thing I'm working on, and he was, and that's about it. And so members were found, and we started to work on the material and played some gigs actually on the same year already before the album was even out. And
the first gig, am I right in saying that your first gig before that album was out, was supporting Nightwish? Was that right? Is that true?
Yeah, correct. So they basically asked us just, hey, do you want to support us there in, what was that place? Espoo is the city, I forgot the venue's name, but Metro Arena. Back then it was called Baron Arena. And we said, yeah, of course. You don't say no to that kind of a offer. So
no, absolutely. Now, your first album, Berserker, released November 2017. How did that go for you?
Unexpectedly good, because we had no expectations. We just did the best we could, and it was a long process to make it ready, the whole album and the music video as well. Everything was done, and I was totally worn out, tired, and everything, stressed, burnout, whatever words you find. But then when we saw the feedback, when it started to come, and hey, it was very positive and rewarding. We saw already in few months that this is something no one expected. Lots of gig offers, tour offers, and the views on YouTube kept growing very fast, and so it went very nicely in the end.
You mentioned YouTube. That's how I first heard of you. My wife sent me a YouTube video and said, check these guys out. So YouTube works to get the word out there. Just touching on Yanis, if we can, the voice on the guy is just amazing.
Yeah, it's he's a very versatile singer, and he has a huge range. Can go until from low voice until soprano C, which is very high, and even higher some days when he has a good day with his voice. It goes ridiculously high, that high that we don't even actually need to use it on an album anymore. Only Dog can hear those high notes, what he can produce.
Right, we've got a new album coming out on the 8th of February. It's called From Hell with Love. When did this one start coming together?
Well, I think the actual recording started in May, around spring last year, I think. But the songwriting, it's the way it goes for us, and for me in particular, since the Battle Beast days, I've always been this songwriter who writes the songs as complete as possible, and when there's free time, I write songs. So in a year, there's about 30 new songs or something like that. And when the time comes to make an album, it's more of a selection process, going through the material that's already existing and choosing the songs which feel could be potentially on the next album. And that's how it went this time as well, it's always been. But the only difference, from the creative perspective, was that I asked a friend of mine, Paolo Ribaldini, Italian guy who lives in Finland, in Helsinki, in the same city where I asked him to co-write some lyrics for the album. He's a fan of Berserk anime, and the manga, the Japanese manga. And so we co-wrote some of those lyrics with him and some others which are not related to Berserk manga, but it was like a new thing for me to write something with somebody. I think the result is very good. I was happy with it, and probably we will write something together in the future as well, because it's nice to have someone who shares his, like, well, to me it's almost like a passion with the Berserk thing, but for him he's also a fan of that, but maybe not as passionate about it as I am. But like, anyway we share the same interest towards that, it's nice to like write the like lyrics about things that both are aware of what's going on in the story and what are the characters and so forth.
Are there any other vocalists on the album, or is Giannis doing it all?
Giannis is doing it all except for in the opening track, Cry Out for a Hero, I sing in the chorus, like the lead melody, but there's Giannis backing vocals in the chorus there. It's like 4 bars, my lead vocals with Giannis backing vocals, and then it's Giannis lead vocals response phrase, and then again this my lead vocals with Giannis backing vocals, and then it's Giannis, that kind of stuff.
I'm getting to the song Ocean Deep, so he's the only singer on Ocean Deep?
Yep.
That voice which sounds just totally unlike him right at the beginning of the song, that's Giannis.
Yeah, that's him. Same thing was with Blind and Frozen. Everybody, like I say 99% of the people who came and talked to me about the song, they thought it was a woman singing.
Yeah, well, amazing. Now, metal sure has evolved in my lifetime. I'm a bit older than you. Something this catchy couldn't have been this heavy years ago. What's your view on that?
Oh,
it's just so catchy, man. Like the album, you listen to the album, and it's just ringing in your head for hours afterwards.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Like, when it comes to music, just generally, I'm very much in my own bubble where I live. I don't know what's going on around that much. I'm not aware. So when it comes to creative things, just have to do what feels right, what I enjoy writing. And I don't listen to that much stuff that came after the year 2000. Some things I check out, but I'm desperately old school, so to speak. I stick with the 80s and 90s material,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Who's your biggest inspiration as a musician? Now you can go back to your childhood for an answer if you like. Who would have inspired you the most?
Well, I think James Horner. When I have to choose really like one composer, I would say James Horner. He composed soundtracks for such movies as Titanic, Braveheart. Those are actually my favorite soundtracks. But as a kid, I really loved the opening themes of some cartoons, such as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Biker Mice from Mars, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Songs like that really like pushed some right emotional buttons on me as a kid. I didn't understand about music back then, but I was like, wow, my blood started to boil. Like when every weekend, I was waiting for the cartoons to come from the TV, and when that intro started, I was like so excited every time. And that already like somehow inspires you very much and leaves a big impact. At least for me, it did. And later, when I was a teenager, I discovered I knew Judas Priest when I was in elementary school already, but not until I was like 13 or 14 that I really checked out more of their stuff. And I was like hooked ever since. And that became my favorite band instantly, like all-time favorite band.
New album From Hell With Love coming out on the 8th. What's happening for Beast in Black then? I'm assuming you're part of the festival season over there in Europe, is that correct?
Yeah, well, first, when the album comes out, we have a headline tour, our first headline tour. That's about 31 or 32 gigs coming up, something like that, I can't remember, 30 something. And then it's small break, from gigs, not a break like in real life, because there's going to be work on the third album going on during the break. But then there's the festival season, and there's more festival dates coming which are not yet released, and between those festival dates probably it's gonna be again like studio work, and there's some open plans for the end of the year, like different touring options. So we don't know which ones we're gonna make happen, but lots of gigs are gonna happen this year anyway.
So Anton, we've got this new album, From Hell With Love, coming out on the 8th of February. Congratulations with it. I really, really like it. I hope you're going to do really well with it. And best of luck with it. And best of luck with the tour. And thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
My pleasure. Great talk. Thank you very much.